tòní. Bóyá ló ní pápápá ká máa sísọ lójú àwọn òròyìn ọ̀hún, ṣe bí tíṣẹ́ ò bá pẹ́ ni èyí pẹ́ iṣẹ́ ò.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good
Morning,
morning to
sir.
you. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining in today. I believe the audio is solid and you can hear me.
Loud
Kenny,
and
good morning
clear.
to
Loud
you,
and
sir. Well,
Yeah, loud and clear.
very
good
good.
morning,
Thank you
sir.
very
Loud and
much. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Right. I believe you can hear me now, right? Sorry about that. Okay. I believe you can hear me now. Can we do a quick confirmation? All right. Thank you very much. So I'm just going to do uh, a summary. It was muted and I didn't even realize that. All right. So I said as a summary that all eyes will be on the CAD CPI for today, 1:30 p.m. Okay. The CPI, it specifically looks at purchasing power and how fast the price of goods and services are rising in an economy. So we use it to determine the rate of inflation and important metrics. All right. And then I also concluded by saying that for today, the expected value forecast is at minus 0.1%, all right? And then by 1:30 p.m., we're going to see the actual result. And that's what we're interested in to determine where the direction for the Canadian dollar as a result of the news event, okay? So when it's released by 1:30 p.m., and if the actual result far exceeds, that is greater than the forecast value of minus 0.1%, then this would indicate that there's an increase in inflationary pressures. And if that's the case, then we're going to expect pairs like pound CAD, USD CAD to decline, to be bearish, because CAD is now stronger as a result of the news. Okay. And then on the other hand, if the Canadian dollar will also weaken, if the CPI data falls short of this expected value, it were to print a lower value, all right, then in that case, that would indicate less inflationary pressure than expected. And then, if you are still focusing on USD CAD, pound CAD, those would be bullish as a result of that news release. All right. So that's a quick summary for the CAD CPI. And then now we get on to technicals. Right. Okay, so we have the USD index up. We have the USD index up. All right. For me, I like to start from here to understand the overall direction of the dollar index, and then I can apply this to the rest of the major pairs, especially. All right. So, what's going on with USD index? What's going on with USD index? Right. So, you would remember that at the time price was hitting 98 price level, the critical support level, and then it was at that time that we we were looking out for a potential return for the USD index, all right, because this 98 right here is a critical support level. I even showed us how previously uh, there was a uh, triple bottom pattern at this 98 level as well in the past, and then that gave rise to a very aggressive move. Let's see if I see that fast. Right here. See the first one, two, and then three. This triple bottom, this triple bottom at the 98 price level, and then price got really aggressive from there. Okay. And then fast forward to here, price came back to the same 98 level. And then so far, this is the daily time frame. Remember, the daily time frame again is our anchor time frame. All right, it's our anchor time frame, I believe is the best place to start, especially to understand the key levels, direction, to determine that, even the trend. Then we can tune down to a much lower one for entry opportunities. All right. So USD index on the daily time frame, we have this structure for an uptrend. An uptrend simply means higher lows and higher highs. And so far, we've been seeing that, right? We have a move from 98 to 99.6. We got a pullback, and then it pushed higher, created a new high at 100.2. We got yet a new retracement, higher low, all right? And then a new high pushed all the way to 102 resistance. And now we expect a higher low, all right, for the next move higher. Okay, expect a higher low for the next move higher. All right, so what that means is that around this area, as long as price does not break below the previous low, in which case the direction could change, all right? Previous low at around 99.08, all right, at around 99.1, all right? So this move, this bearish move that we're currently seeing is supposed to create a higher low, all right, for the next push higher. All right, this is typical of an uptrend. Okay, it doesn't move in a straight line. So continue to do trend and pull back, trend and pull back, trend and pull back, creating series of higher lows and higher highs. Okay, so that's the expectation that I have for USD index. Now, on top of that, there's also a trend line right here that I also have eyes on. Right here, I'm going to connect these loads. Okay, and then currently price is pressuring that trend line, all right? In the event that price eventually breaks below and closes below that trend line, all right, then what it means is that you may still further decline to lower levels, for instance, 99.6 and potentially the 99.1 level, all right? Now, if that's the case, then we're going to expect pairs like USD, Pound USD to be bullish, all right? Currently, as a result of the pullback that we expect here, we see this bearish move, and then eventually, if price closes below this trend line, let's see what it looks like on 4 hours. Remember, I said we're using the daily time frame as our anchor time frame to determine key levels and trend, and then we tune down to a much lower one for entry opportunities. All right. So this is what it looks like on 4 hours, and then on 1 hour, this is what we have. Right. So the same trend line from the daily time frame, this is right here. So if we get a close below the trend line, all right, then we may expect to see further decline to levels like 99.6 and potentially 99.1 or thereabout. Okay. Now, if price falls to, if it breaks below the trend line, falls to 99.6, then I'll be looking toward 99.6 for a bullish reversal pattern. All right. You know, ideally, you expect a higher low, right? We started from there, from the daily time frame. We see a series of higher highs and higher lows, right? So this is the most recent higher low still in play. So the pullback, we really don't know the extent to which this pullback would go. All right. The market has the final say, but we have levels that we're looking at. For instance, 99.6 right here, and then 99.1. All right. which happens to be the previous higher low that gave rise to this high right here. Okay. And then back to H1 time frame, right? The same trend line right here. And then the conclusion is that if you get a break below the trend line, then you can expect further decline to levels like 99.6 and potentially 99.1. All right. Now, what would invalidate this is if we now get a close back above this resistance at 100.2. Okay. If from this current level, this trend line, you get a bullish reversal pattern, right? And then price starts to push higher and then breaks the resistance. Okay. Then we're going to have a bullish, that means the uptrend is still intact, and then you can expect higher prices for the USD index. Okay. Now, ideally, I also expect this trend line to act as support for price. Remember, it's on the daily time frame. It's a key level. All right. So I expect this level to hold as support. All right, to hold as support. Then, just like it did back here, and just like it did back here, just like it did back here. All right. So at this current level as well, I expect to see a bullish reversal pattern. All right, and then higher prices. We expect price to create a new high from the current level. Okay, so that's it for the USD index. Okay, and then there is also a channel right here, descending channel. We'll draw that out. See, that's the channel resistance. See how it's been holding as resistance. The first point here, second one right here, a few pips away, and then here as well. Okay, and then the same line, I'm going to hold it down to create the support side. Okay, then to look something like this. Right, you see how these two right here as support, right here as support as well, conference right here as well, broke down, and then closed back below, and now it's holding as support. Okay, so we also have this descending channel. So price has recently tested the channel resistance, all right, and then we see that decline. Okay, we see that decline. All right, so the expectation for the USD index still stands. All right. For edgy, we don't really use it in isolation. It signifies exhaustion. Okay, it signifies exhaustion. Then combine it with more candlestick formations, then we'll be able to make a decision. For example, in the midst of a downtrend, prices are approaching a support area, then start seeing basic candles. All right, that means the sellers, in the case of a downtrend, are struggling to push price further down. All right, if we now combine that with more candlestick formations, then we'll be able to make a decision at that support. Okay. All right, so that's it for the USD index. So moving on to euro dollar. You would remember on H4 time frame here, there was a consolidation phase, okay, between 14,109, right, between 1.14109 and 1.12831. All right, we got this consolidation phase. All right, and then this right here as well, a fake out. All right, price broke above that key level. Right. So price broke above. Initially, there was resistance. Here as well, resistance. Here as well, resistance. So eventually, price closed above it. And then ideally, that break above that resistance should have given rise to higher prices. Okay. Above this resistance, we should have continued to see a series of higher lows and higher highs. But unfortunately, price closed back below that key level. And then we got these aggressive sell-off right there. Okay. And of course, this is typical of a fake out. I've mentioned fake outs several times on this forum. Right? I've mentioned fake out. It's simply it occurs when price breaks a key level, whether a break above or a break below, only to reclaim that key level very quickly. Right? Especially when it's happening on the higher time frames. All right. So of course, at that time, when this happened, it gave rise to this aggressive sell. Okay. And right about now, this here, remember, it's the support of this consolidation right here, right? At 1.12831. Okay. And currently, we have price pushing towards 1.12831. Okay. So this here is expected to hold as resistance. And don't forget, this is Euro USD, which is essentially the inverse of the USD index. All right. So while the USD index is creating the higher low, all right, or it's in the process of creating the higher low, of course, that's why we see this printing higher prices. All right. And then this here, 1.12831, is expected to hold as resistance. All right, it's expected to hold as resistance. So I expect to see price push higher to 12831 and then see a decline from 12831 for euro dollar. All right, that's the expectation that I have. Okay, but if it closes, it takes out resistance, it takes out that resistance at the point 12831, then it's going to, of course, turn to support. And then you may see a retest, it holds a support, then we see higher prices, all right, from that support level. Okay. But this is dependent on the US dollar uh, pushing higher from this current level. Okay. So this holds a support and then starts to get bullish from there. All right. Then we're going to see this also decline from around this area as well. That's for euro dollar. It's for euro dollar. Okay. You should also remember our trend line from the monthly time frame. Let's see what that looks like now. So let's see what that looks like now. Okay. Okay. So price is still below that that trend line. All right, that trend line from the monthly time frame. Again, remember, I always have that we're not the monthly or the weekly time frame don't have much relevance to us as day traders. All right, but we can definitely use it to get some perspective and then see how this trend line has held as resistance. Okay, so back to daily. All right, and then back to H4. Right, so the expectation we have is that this level holds as resistance, and then see price decline from that level. Okay, and then in the event that it closes above it, then you can expect a push higher from euro dollar. Okay, moving on to pound USD. Moving on to pound USD. Right. For pounds USD, it's been a little more aggressive than the euro dollar counterpart. I pointed out this fake out right here. Okay. Again, price closed above this key level and then closed back below the key level, and then it gave rise to this aggressive sell-off over 1,000 pips right there. Okay. That's how powerful fake outs can be. All right. Okay, so fast forward to what we currently have. If you look here, you see that this is quite similar. So I'm going to highlight it here as well. Okay, so again, price closed above that key level, 1.325, closed back below it, but this time around, we got another close back above the key level. And so far, price has stayed above 1.325 key level. All right. Of course, this looks pretty much bullish for pounds USD. This looks pretty much bullish. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Then let's see right here as well. Okay. All right. You see, currently prices above that channel resistance, prices above it, and then we have resistance right here on 0.344. 0.344. Okay. So we got a break above the channel resistance, quite bullish, and then this will now be the next resistance for pound USD. Okay, 1.344. Let's see H1 still pushing higher. Okay, still pushing higher. All right. So on H1, we have this level. Right, we have this level on H1 time frame, okay, which is the resistance right here, all right? And then, of course, it still remains bullish, but because of this resistance right here, what I'll be looking out for here be a break above this resistance, for price to take out this resistance, and then I can expect a push higher, okay? If this level doesn't hold as resistance. So if we see a break above this resistance on the 1 hour time frame, then we will get a potential push higher to the next resistance at 1.344. All right. But if this level right here holds as resistance, then we're going to see price decline from that level, just like we saw back here. All right. Just like we saw back here and back here as well, and even here. Okay. So again, we need to wait this out, wait for price to hit that resistance. At that resistance, if we get a bearish reversal pattern, just like we got in the past, then we see price get bullish from there. But if it closes above that resistance, it takes it out, then we may expect a push to the next resistance at 1.344 for pounds USD. Right. Next up, I have USD JPY. You see that this is quite similar to the USD index, the structure that we have right there. Okay, so again here, you see from this bottom, just a second. Right, so we've got series of lower highs and lower lows all the way to 140 critical support level. And from that support, this is USD JPY now on daily time frame. And then from that support level at 140, see high on support. We got higher low right there, gave rise to a new high, pulled back yet again, and then this created a double bottom, created a new high, right? And now we see a higher low, all right, which is still in play. Okay, see a higher low, which is still in play. All right, so that area will be between 144 and 142 price level. This 142 level is a must hold level for bulls, all right? It's a must hold level for bulls. Okay, so first we're looking at 144 support level. All right, we're looking at 144 support level for USD JPY. Now this is daily time frame. Let's get to H1. Okay, so we're interested in what happens at 144 support level right here. We're interested in what happens here. It's a few pips away. All right. So at 144 support level, if we see a bullish reversal pattern at 144, all right, then that would potentially mean that we see higher prices for 144 support level. So it's going to look something like this. We see a push to 144, and then price starts to print higher prices from 144 support level. But we need to see a bullish reversal pattern at that support. All right, that's one scenario. The other one would be if price closes below 144 support level, then we may see further decline, potentially to on 1 hour. We have it somewhere here. Right, 143. Okay, so if price takes out 144 support level, then we expect price to push lower to 143 and potentially 142. Okay, but first, it needs to take out 144 support level. All right, so when this declines to 144 support level, and we see a reversal pattern, a bullish one at 144 support level, okay, then we can expect price to push higher, okay, for trend continuation. Remember, we have an uptrend on the daily time frame. And remember, we use the daily time frame as an anchor time frame to get key levels and then understand, determine the trend, okay? So right here, we see series of higher lows and higher highs. Currently, we're seeing the next move lower to create a higher low, and then for a new high to upward. All right. So back to 1 hour. Back to 1 hour. Yeah. So this is where we have eyes on 144 support level. If we get a bullish reversal pattern at 144, right, then that would be our trigger to long USD JPY. However, if price takes out, if the bears are still in control and eventually they take out 144 support level, then we may see a further decline to 143 and potentially 142 support level. But that's how I'm going to approach this. That's how I'm going to approach this. Right, before we get to gold and more, that's USDCHF, all right, USDCHF. You remember our 0.84 level, right? And I told us how price stayed above 0.84 level for more than 10 years. Check it, price stayed above that level for more than 10 years for USD CHF. Okay, price stayed above that key support level for more than 10 years. Okay, and now fast forward to let's see, fast forward to here, April 10. All right, price took out 0.84, that critical support level. Price broke below it aggressively. All right, and then see price close back above that key level. So potentially, this should give us a fake out. All right, it should give us a fake out. But first, what this means is that currently you see the structure for uptrend, right? A high, created a higher low, a higher high, and then we see a higher low, all right, right here. Okay, so we need some bullish pressure from the current level, all right, especially price closing back above 0.84, especially price reclaiming 0.84 resistance, and then that will give us confidence to expect higher prices for USD CHF. Okay. This is the daily time frame, and then this is 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour time frame is currently below 0.833 support left. Okay, which means this is currently bearish. It's currently bearish. Okay, and for this to turn bullish, we need to see price take out 0.833. All right, we need to see price close back above 0.833. Right. So next up, let's move on to gold. Let's move on to gold. What's happening on gold? Okay. Okay. We saw. Was it on 4 hours? Yes, on 4 hours. We got a head and shoulder pattern. It's on 4 hours. Left shoulder, and then right shoulder, right there. Okay, so at that time, we're waiting for price to break below the neckline, right, which we eventually got. Yeah. Okay. So when we saw this head and shoulder pattern right there, a bearish reversal pattern, at that time we're waiting for price to break below the neckline so that we can sell. Okay, we got that, but eventually price pulled back above the trend line, and then currently is back below it. Okay, giving us series of lower highs and lower lows. All right. So let's get the key levels on the daily time frame. Let's get the key levels on the daily time frame. Okay. Okay. We have this level at let's see, 8253. Okay. And then okay, let's make this 3150 around figure. Okay. So here is resistance, here support. Okay. All right. So currently we have between 3253 and 3150. Okay. 3150. Right. And this happened in the midst of this downtrend. All right, it's happened in the midst of this downtrend. Okay. Then here, from this support now, you see this high, see this as well, and then price stayed here as well. Okay, so here we have a double top pattern. Okay, we have a double top pattern at this resistance. Okay, and then you see this push lower for that double top pattern. All right, so for me, this is H4 time frame on gold. All right, for me, I need to see it closed back above this resistance for this to turn bullish. All right, I need to see it close back above that resistance. Now this is H4. Let's see if we get any more levels here on H1. Okay. So we see this support here as well. And then here as well. And then here as well. Okay. So that means, because we see it multiple times, that means this level is key, quite significant for gold, around 32.06. Okay. And then it's currently holding a support. Okay, it's currently holding a support, and then we have this bullish engulfing candle. Though it's still forming. This is the 1 hour time frame. So at the end of this 1 hour, all right, at the end of this 1 hour, if this closes as a bullish engulfing candle from this support level, all right, then what it means is that we expect price to push higher to that resistance. Okay. This is gold on 1 hour time frame. This level holding a support around 32.06. Currently, we have this candle pattern here, bullish engulfing. All right. So, but it's still forming, mind you, it's still forming. Okay. A lot can still happen in the next 10 minutes. A lot can still happen. But in the event that this ends up as a bullish engulfing candle, all right, that would signify strength, especially because it's happening at this key support level. And then as a result, we're going to expect price to push higher, okay, potentially towards the next resistance at 32.53 for gold. I hope you got that. I hope you got that. Right, so that's it for gold. That's it for gold. Okay, so the next 5, 6, 7 minutes, let's drop the assets that we'd like us to touch on, to look at, to analyze. Okay, I'm able to give us about 6 so far. All right, about 6 so far. USD card. Okay, USD card is one that we have touched on multiple times, right? USD card. If you remember, I've mentioned this a couple of times. So, especially this level here at 1.387, let me give us the background. This year, we saw a 2-year consolidation right here from 2022, all right, to sometime in 2024 when we got that break above that consolidation, right? See this from 2020, from September of 2022, this 2-year long consolidation from support at 1.32 to resistance at 1.387. All right, price stayed here for 2 years. Okay, And then I also added that the longer a consolidation phase lasts, the more aggressive the resulting breakout usually is. Okay, so eventually, this period here, October 2024, price broke the resistance, all right, at 1.387. Okay, and that gave rise to this rally close to 8,000 pips, all right. And then recently, we also saw this consolidation here between 1.445 and 1.43. And then eventually price broke the support side and then pushed all the way down to 1.387. Now, the reason why 1.387 is significant, remember that 1.387 is the high of this, is the resistance of this consolidation phase that lasted for 2 years, all right? The resistance of that consolidation phase, okay? So price broke below it, all right, and then closed back above it. So I expect this level to hold as support, all right? Expect that level to hold as support. So as long as it stays above 1.387, I'm interested in looking for buys above 1.387, okay? But of course, I need more confirmations. It has stayed in a single line for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trading days that stayed on this same spot. So let's switch to 1 hour. Okay. So this is what it looks like on 1 hour time frame. And then I'll be looking at this flag. It looks like a flag. Okay, it's 5 o'clock. Right. So I was showing us this bullish flag. All right. So we have this support side. All right. And price is pushing towards that level. Okay. Price is pushing towards that level. Right. So eventually, if it breaks it, all right, this is 1 hour time frame now on a USD card. If it breaks this support level, then we may see a further push to 1.387. But if this level holds as support, all right, just like it did here, but just like it did here as well. So if this level holds as support, all right, so what it means is that we see price push lower, and then from there, it stays inside of that channel, okay? It stays inside of that channel, all right? And then potentially we see price push all the way back to the resistance, okay? But first, this has to hold as support. This trend line support, okay? If that fails, that is, if price closes below that trend line, then if we get a retest as resistance, that's fantastic. And then if that push towards 4.387 support level, right, for USD CAD, for USD CAD. Inverted head and shoulder pattern gold H1. Okay, let's see. trying to see it. So let's say this is head, right? And then this is our left shoulder. This is who now? Victor, okay. For me, this has not stayed inside that range, okay? This has not stayed inside that range. This may have invalidated the potential setup for an inverse head and shoulder, okay? This move right here, this move right here. Okay, so for Victor, for that reason, it's disconnected yet again. All right. So I said for that reason, here we got the head, of course, here the left shoulder, right? You can see that. But if you see what happened here, that's kind of invalidated because this level has not stayed inside of these range, all right? It has invalidated the potential setup for an inverse head and shoulder pattern, all right? So that's why I will no longer consider that. But of course, we have this level currently holding now as support, all right? Holding now as support, okay? So again, just like I said, it's holding as support. We have now confirmed a bullish engulfing pattern at this support level, okay? So that means we expect price to push to resistance of 32.53, okay? But we now have a bullish engulfing pattern, all right? That's for gold. That's for gold. Very quickly, we are coming. You have the floor very quickly.
I wanted you to analyze the US 100.
Oh, okay. We are way behind schedule, but what does it look like? It's bullish for me. It's bullish. I remember last time we touched on US 100. I was telling us how if price stayed above 19,500 support level, then it's going to continue to push higher. Currently, we have that level at 21,000. Okay, we have that level at 21,000. Just like we got for 19,500. Currently, 21,000 level is acting as a support. And then above that level, continue to look for opportunities to buy for US 100. Okay. Continue to look for opportunities to buy. And currently, the 50 period moving average is now acting as support. Okay, it's now acting as support. All right, so from this level now, we see price continuing to reach higher. All right, from the current level. And then you also need to be mindful of this resistance right here. Okay, so if you're a more conservative trader, you want to wait for price to take out that resistance, and then that will be a trigger to buy. All right, but if you are an aggressive one, then you want to jump right in for a buy. All right. Okay, so this is where we draw the curtain for today's edition of MMR. I'm not sure what you think is a reversal, and yeah, I'm not sure what you think is a reversal. Okay, the same US convert, or is it USD JPY? So we're expecting this level 144 to hold as support for USD JPY, and then we look for buys at that level. Remember, it's currently in an uptrend, right? We see series of higher lows and higher highs. Currently, we are treating this as higher low for a new move higher, okay, for a new move higher. But first, we need more confirmations, especially at this key support level at 144. If it breaks that, then potentially price may decline to 143 and even 142, all right? So this is where we draw the curtain for today's edition of the Money Market Review. Thank you very much. It's been great talking to us for the past 1 hour. Thank you very much. I wish us a great trading day. Don't forget to join us same time tomorrow for yet another edition of our Money Market Review. Thank you very much once again.